But Africans, we copy too much. We copy too much. Let me speak like my South African brothers. We copy too much. Why do we copy too much? I mean, guys, what does Halloween have to do with Africans? Frankly speaking, let's keep it 100. This is ridiculous. The kind of things we see that Africans always want to push themselves into that narrative. It is okay for us to be ourselves. It's okay for us to do that which is indigenous to us. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Attribution TV, and here we discuss eclectic topics that affect Africans. Of course, for the common good of Africans anywhere they are, whether you are African in Africa or you are an African in the diaspora. So, I think Halloween was, some days ago. I was at my office and I saw some very, very ridiculous display of Halloween, which I found really, really funny, frankly speaking. I saw some girl who was dressed as a schoolgirl, like it was a schoolgirl, a shirt, a skirt, and a tie, and she was nominated as one of the best Halloween costume. it was, it, it was, it was really, really hilarious. I'll try to see if I can put the picture up here without putting the person's face, just so that you can see. So I got the email. Oh, guys, vote for the best dressed, Halloween costume and stuff like that. Some funny stuffs. In my opinion, it was more like an opportunity for people to just come to the office with their with the most ridiculous outfit that they can, because I can tell you some people came to the office with pajamas. like, like Nah, this is funny as well. Like some people came to the office legit with pajamas. Like I'm telling you, like for me, this is the most on Halloween. This is the most on Halloween costumes that I've actually seen like this year. This whole craze about Halloween and stuff like that. And what I find most funny is that somehow Africans will always look for a way to you know to put themselves in that whole mix. So it was already funny from work. So I got to work and I had no idea. I was dressed normally, and then I started seeing people. Some girl with like a black dress and some Halloween stuff, like that. The other girl with some kind of makeup, and the other one with like blood coming down of her mouth and stuff like that. You know what is crazy? What is crazy is that a lot of these folks don't even understand, the concept of Halloween. Like they don't even know what the origin is, But of course, look, this is Gen Z, so I understand, because a lot of them are young, and they don't care so much. It's just more like for the fun of it, for the fashion of it, and of course because the company announced that, hey, the best dressed Halloween costume would get like a prize and all that. So for me, it was really, really funny at work. I'll try to see if I can get some of those costumes. Frankly speaking, I'll just put it, but of course without putting the face. Yeah. So I got back home and it was like, okay, difficult day from work, and then I turned on my computer, and then I have this favorite show. I'm going to call the name anyway. I'll call the name. It's called the Hunt Game Show. Shout out to what's her name, Nonce Mirage, by the way. She's a very, very big content creator She's big on YouTube, actually. So she was doing the Hunt Game Show, and then apparently that day she was doing the Halloween version of the Hunt Game Show. My brothers and sisters, my question is this: have a look at some of these photos right here and tell me, what will be this? What will be this? Eh? like, like, bro, like, sincerely, this guy came, and apparently he said he's the god of death. No, like, sincerely, I actually don't know the right adjectives to use to describe this guy. Just have a look at this costume here. He's there, bare chested. Who knows? Maybe this is some Yoruba guy from Oyo State. For those of you who know Nigeria, you understand. Oyo State is in the western part of Nigeria. This is some guy from Oyo State who perhaps he has no idea what Halloween is about, but here he is, saying, oh, He's the god of death and this. And then you have this other girl who says, she's dressed as Superman or something like that. You know, okay, just have a look at some of these very, very ridiculous things. For me, this was really, really funny, and even you can have a look at the host as well. Now, Spirit. Ah, no, man, no. Frankly speaking, Africans, nah, 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 nah. We always just look for a way to make sure that we squeeze ourselves into the room because this has nothing to do with us. This is something that is not indigenous to Africa. As a matter of fact, now to the very, very serious issues. First things first. I find it really, really interesting how the West can somehow demonize that which is indigenously African, and then for some reason, many years later, redefine it, reconstruct it, remodel it, and then sell it back to us. As Africans, we have different manifestations of our culture, and one of it is actually something that we call like the masquerade. We have like the masquerade carrying. We call it carrying the masquerade. Of course, you have like different ones, whether you're Igbo, you're Yoruba. I'm just using Nigeria as a case study. I'm sure it applies to Ghana. And then there is one in Senegal that is called Concourant. There's one in Senegal that is called the Concourant. And I know that in the Badagry culture of people from Badagry, they have this, I think it's one that they call the Zangbeto. I think they call it the Zangbeto. I think it's Zangbeto. Then the people from the south, particularly people from the Akwa Ibom and Cross River, they have the ones that they call the if I'm not mistaken, I think it should be called the Nabo. I think they have the Nabo, and then they have Epo, and then they have the Nabo. So growing up, especially around Christmas, New Year, we have those people who, they carry the masquerade. You see them all pitch black. They rub something on their body, very, very black, and then they have like these faces that are constructed with wood. Really, really, really beautiful carvings, frankly speaking. Beautiful in the sense that you can see the creativity that goes into it. Yes, it was frightening to us then because remember, we were kids, we were young. But this was really fun. It was really fun. You see them coming on the streets. While they are coming down, everybody's running. This was so, so nice. I'm talking about those who grew up in Lagos, particularly maybe in Surulere. This was very, very common. So we used to call them Ekpo, and then they had the ones called the Nabo. Very, 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 very colorful. Very colorful. You see them with like, some kind of costume with different layers, with different colors, red, yellow, green. It was so, 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 so beautiful growing up. So this was like my fond experiences. And then if you go to the east, of course, I think they call it Mao, and then they have different kinds of Mao. So Mao translates into masquerade. And this is something that is, is of a very, very high spiritual significance, to Africans generally. I know that in Ghana they also have, I don't know the name, in the Republic of Benin they also have as well, because I've seen, videos of these online. So my point here is this. I find it really, really sad and unfortunate that many Africans would not be proud to celebrate the Masquerade Day. Many Africans, I'm telling you, they would rather die than having to participate in the Masquerade Day or even carry a masquerade. But they are so excited. I saw some of them at my office. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Putting on some raggedy ass costumes that didn't have any cultural or historical relevance or importance. But now these are the same people who will be very quick to tell you that, oh, that's what you do in Africa is demonic. That's what you do in Africa, is diabolic. It's very, very dark. But the one that we are actually doing here, in quotes, Halloween, oh, it's good, it's cool. So once it's from the West, it's cool. Once it's from Africa, it's primitive, it's demonic, it's diabolic. Africans who do honor this thing. Africans who have done this damage to you guys. This is really, really unfortunate. This is ridiculous that we continue this cycle of demonizing that which is ours, and then of course glorifying that which is Western. Because for me, I sit back and I look at it and I say, look, culture is dynamic, which means culture can undergo modifications, can undergo improvements. But what I see all the time is that the people who actually have these things, they do not give any value to it. I'll give you another example. I went to a popular market here in Lisbon, in somewhere in Santa Polonia. It's called Feira de Ladra. For anybody who knows Lisbon very well, you know that market. It's like a flea market. It's an open market, usually on Saturdays. I got there and I was walking by and I got to a particular section. You have no idea. There was this man who was selling these arts that originally were from Africa. And I kept asking him, I said, and I paused and I asked him, I said, oh, but where do you get all these supplies from? He said, oh, he has somebody who actually supplies all these things to him. And I said, but where does the person bring it from? He said, oh, somewhere around Europe. So it clicked on my head that, okay, most likely this must have been some of these, possible artifacts that somehow made their way into Europe. Of course, we already know how these things got to Europe. And for some reason, there's a lot of consciousness, I don't know, how am I going to put this? A lot of people making like comments, agitations. Oh, you guys should not have kept these things in your museums. It doesn't belong there. And maybe some of these people are actually going there maybe to take or to steal, and then they are coming to sell it in the market. I'm talking about the popular head of that should be I think Oduduwa, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that should be the popular head of Oduduwa. If you're Yoruba, you understand what I'm talking about. Oduduwa is like the am I going to say the primogenitor of the Yoruba race, according to Yoruba mythology. So we have the head of Oduduwa in carved in metal, really really beautiful. We had like the heads of different goddesses, and then we have very very notable, mystical, or I'm going to say mythological beings, from different African cultures and traditions and histories. And that guy was actually selling that stuff in the market. And guess what? What I noticed was that the most people who were buying it were actually non-blacks. These were the people who were buying most of those artifacts. They were non-blacks. So I had to sit back to actually pause and reflect to say, okay, here we go again. We have this guy selling some of these stuffs, but it is still non-blacks who, for some reason, find it valuable or worthy enough to actually make the purchases from this person. So the point here is that we need to begin to understand that, look, whether you're in Europe, you're in America, or whatever you are, it doesn't matter how educated you are. An average black person is somebody who does not really glorify that which is indigenously theirs. You know, for example, the fact that, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, and stuff like that. All of a sudden, anything that is originally from my culture, I have to say, oh no, this is primitive, this is diabolic, this is this is demonic. But of course, once I come to Europe, I come to America, I'm in Australia, all of a sudden, if I see something similar from the Western culture, oh, it's cool, it's acceptable, oh, it's just fun. So I think we need to begin to decolonize our minds. I think we need to begin to, liberate our thinking, because this will continue if we do not find, any problem with this kind of thinking, you know. Because, I mean, you've seen all the funny costumes that I showed you, in the course of this video. And then look at these funny ass people on this dating show, wearing this, because frankly speaking, these people look like clowns, I'm really sorry to say, but this was really, really funny for me. And I just couldn't help but, talk about this, in this particular video. And of course, I don't want this video to be too long. The message today is just to encourage us as Africans to embrace that which is ours, because we need to understand that the damage that was done to Africans was more than physical. It was mental, it was psychological. Maybe in one of these episodes, I am going to actually do like a breakdown of how a lot of these European countries were able to conquer Africans. I'm talking spiritually now and psychologically, not just physically, okay? How, for example, the Portuguese people, when they went to Brazil, they actually employed, the services of a group of people called the Jesuits, who were master anthropologists. These were people who had gone around different places, doing like mercenary work, in the sense that they study the culture of the people, they stay close to the people, and then after a while they now begin to interact with the people, and then understand how the people think, what are their values, well, you know, what do they pay attention to, what do they worship, what religion do they practice. Then they now begin to, you know, work on their psyche and see how they can make those people disbelieve their own original religion and ways of life, and then begin to adopt that of the colonizers. I think I'm going to do one of that episode very soon. But hey guys, if you have watched up until this moment, thank you so much. Consider subscribing to this channel, and I'll catch you on the very next one. Peace.